Welcome everyone to the Chris Parrish podcast. My name is Chris Parrish, and I just want to let everybody know that this is my apology to you. Last week I was unable to perform. I was unable to do a stream, and the reason why is simple. I decided to go out and enjoy a 40th birthday party for one of my best friends, and I slept through everything. It was an unexcusable excuse. It was very unlike me. I have taken a lot of pride into being consistent for every single one of you. And because of that, I apologize to every single one of you who are trying to watch the show last week. I will not do that again. And you have my word. But because of that, I am proud to say we do have a new template of the Chris Parrish podcast. I do hope you like it. I do hope that everyone still goes to Beercade YEG, located on 144 82nd Ave, 105 44 82nd Ave to be exact, in Edmonton, Alberta. You have a chance to go and check out all the PPVs and PLEs of AEW and WWE. I'm sure I will have more information about Elimination Chamber as we near down. We definitely will talk a little bit about Elimination Chamber tonight or today. So please bear with me. I hope everyone is having a great time. If by chance you want to help and support the channel, please go and check out one of many of my locations on social media. But if you want a simpler solution, go to my link tree. That's right there below me. Linktree/Chris Parrish. You can go check out myself on all the platforms, whether it's Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Kick. Chris Parrish Podcast is now on Twitch or on Kick, Twitch, X, Instagram, all that good stuff. And if you want to support, please go hit the support button, the like button, the subscribe button, all that good stuff, because it definitely helps the channel. The Chris Parrish Podcast is also live on, or not live, but it's also on Spotify. So please go check out the Chris Parrish Podcast on Spotify as well. We will be have views on TikTok as well. So after these shows are done, they are uploaded on TikTok, so you can check out TikTok as well. Once again, I apologize for not being here last week, but I am here today. So let's get with it. This is episode 115, Roadblock. And the reason why we're calling this Roadblock is because we're on the road to WrestleMania. But not everyone has a clear path towards WrestleMania. 30 men and 30 women attempted to win the Royal Rumble, but not everyone got the chance to win. That's right. Liv Morgan, Roman Reigns punched their tickets to WrestleMania by winning the Royal Rumble matches. But what does that mean for everyone else? Well, we do know that 2 matches will determine the challengers for the other championships. That's right. Roman Reigns has officially picked CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. Liv Morgan is still undecided, but everything leads towards her picking Stephanie Vaquer. So the Women's Elimination Chamber is for the other championship. So if Stephanie Vaquer is the chosen opponent for Liv Morgan, then the winner of this Women's Elimination Chamber faces Jade Cargill. Where the men, the winner faces Drew McIntyre. Now, qualifying matches have been going on, as we do have CBRS Entertainment coming in saying howdy, Chris Parrish. We got Fight Abayaz coming in saying hi. Appreciate both of you coming in and spending some time. I appreciate both of you being here. But if you guys do want to help support the channel, make sure you're hitting that notification bell button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way to help the channel. So we got elimination chamber matches. We're seeing qualifying matches. So far, we have 3 men and 3 women who have qualified. Those men are Randy Orton, L.A. Knight, and Cody Rhodes, who qualified on Friday night. I do remember you, but I do remember you. We have 3 spots open. We do know that Damian Priest is set to take on Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes next week on SmackDown. One of those 3 men will join that elimination chamber qualifying match. I do believe we're going to see Damian Priest in that match, but I do hope maybe, just maybe, we get Trick Williams. But at the same time, I'm not going to complain about the big guns going after it. I wouldn't mind seeing Damian Priest for the sole reason of maybe, just maybe, we get Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes over that United States Championship. Because I have a feeling there are some plans for that U.S. Championship at WrestleMania. We'll get into that a little bit later. For the women, we have Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss qualified just on Friday as well. We know that we have a qualifying match on Raw between Io Sky. I know we have 2 others, I believe. I have forgotten who the other 2 are, because I do know on SmackDown we have Nia Jax, Kiana James, and if I'm not mistaken, it's Charlotte Flair. So within this week, we will find, and we do have one for the men as well, as Dominic Mysterio, Javon Evans, and Gunther go after a qualifying spot in that elimination chamber. So we will get 2 more entrants into the qualifying or into the elimination chamber. And yes, I do hope if we do have Charlotte Flair in a qualifying match, since we do have Alexa Bliss, I'm okay with Charlotte Flair qualifying in this spot, simply because that would allow Nia Jax and AJ Lee to really go after and solidify those tag team championships, because Alexa Bliss and Charlotte will be more. Yeah, Best. I did say Io Sky has a qualifying match. I did also say I forgot who she's against. I am looking that up as we speak. But yeah, that way there's a little bit of a path to those tag team titles. Because again, I do hope that we're looking at some tag team championship, like maybe a TLC match or a ladder match for these women's tag team titles. I think it would be nice to see kind of that TLC format go towards the women this year over their tag team titles. Why not? Allow these championships the same opportunity that the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian had back then, and then you tried to recreate with other participants, especially with you did it just last year around the SummerSlam. I think it was SummerSlam time. You had the big ladder match that determined both sets of at that time, the Raw and SmackDown tag titles that morphed into the WWE and World tag titles. So I say this is a time to pull the trigger and do something with the women in a TLC, a ladder match scenario for WrestleMania. I believe Lyra Valkyria is also in this qualifying match as well. And I think, it's Io, Lyra, and someone else. Not too sure who the third is. But to finish up what we know about Backlash, Bailey, that's right. It's on the thumbnail for the Raw Patrol, by the way. We also have Becky Lynch defending her Intercontinental Championship against AJ Lee. That, I think, is a match everybody is really, really excited for. It's been one that's been maybe teased a little too long, and there's been a lot of stop gaps. But it's still a match that has been built for a while. AJ Lee's return has been built around her helping her husband CM Punk get a little even with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch when they were a part of the Vision. So to see this still have those legs and continue on, and we saw this kind of continue during War Games, where AJ Lee did get the victory by submitting Becky Lynch. Would this be the appropriate time to pull the trigger and have AJ Lee win the Intercontinental Championship? Also, interesting side note, but both CM Punk and AJ Lee are going after a championship against an Irish competitor at Elimination Chamber because CM Punk is defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor. In a rematch that they had from Raw just a couple weeks ago when Raw was in Ireland, Bayley, Asuka, Neo. Oh, that's right. Lyra's in the triple threat with Rhea. Still don't like that. Still didn't like the fact Lyra got pinned in that match. Yeah, because it was Rhea, Ivy, and Lyra, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Thank you for that. So, if we're going to go and take a little swing back, I think we can all say that we think Gunther is going to win that match. But if they're going to do a little bit of a swerve, Dominic Mysterio would be a great, just a great person there. But also, given the athletic offense and creative athletic offense from Javon Evans, he might be a lot of fun to watch in this Elimination Chamber. I mean, we saw when the Elimination Chamber first was created, Rob Van Dam really took the innovation and creativity out of this match and really applied it into his offense. And I think Javon Evans can very much do the same. And it would be a great way to showcase him. But at that point, that means Javon Evans has to pin Dom Mysterio because you're not having Gunther take the fall in this match. However, I could see maybe Dragon Lee getting involved and costing Gunther an opportunity to win the match, not necessarily losing this match. So just from a surprise pick, I'm actually picking Javon Evans to advance in this match. And then, then I got Damian Priest. I know I kind of want some of the heavy hitters in here, but I wouldn't mind one of those underdogs as well. Because right now we got Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, one of Bayley, Asuka, and Io, and I fully expect Io Sky to be in that match. Over on SmackDown, I think Charlotte Flair is perfect in that. Then we have Charlotte, we have Rhea, we have Alexa, and then we have Io. So we have two tag teams in this match, and we can't forget they're all considered to be top draws. But I still find Alexa Bliss to be that underdog in this match. If you were to put who is the most likely to walk out of the five in Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, and Io, I think a lot of people have Alexa Bliss fifth. Rhea, Charlotte, and Io are going to be right there at the 1, 2, 3. Right now, Tiffany Stratton, last couple times ago we saw her, she had a championship title. So right now we're just not used to Alexa Bliss being a world champion. Not that she hasn't been one, it's just been a while. So now we kind of look at, okay, that means after this week, after SmackDown finishes on Friday, we have one qualifying spot left, which means there are a lot of wrestlers who do not have a clear path to WrestleMania. Therefore, there's a roadblock in the way. If Finn Balor doesn't win the World Heavyweight Championship, what does he do at WrestleMania? If Gunther doesn't qualify and go into the Elimination Chamber, what does Gunther do at WrestleMania? We have to think Brock Lesnar will be back. There has to be a plan for him. And then you look at multiple acts, whether it's Bronson Reed. What does he do? What does Austin Theory do? We know Braun Breaker is currently out with a sports hernia. It is unknown at this point if he's going to be back. It's heavily heavily rumored and heavily expected that Seth Rollins will be back in time for WrestleMania. So what does he do? And to me, this is something that really brings a lot more chaos into the fold. And before anybody says, let's just do a battle royal like an Andre the Giant or whatever, I think those battle royals have fizzled out completely for people who care. Because for the most part, they're either on SmackDown, they're not a part of WrestleMania. Nobody gets really anything out of it other than a very awkward looking trophy that's hard to carry and move. So what does it matter? This is why I do think we need a little bit of creativity when it comes to WrestleMania. And this is why I almost want to say it might be worthwhile down the road to look at bringing Money in the Bank back to WrestleMania. Yes, you have 2 nights, and you can get away with doing 8, maybe 9 matches a night. 9 might be too much, but 8 definitely, I think, is a safe number of matches you can have. You can do 4-hour shows both nights, have it start, hopefully, at a good time so it's not too late. But it's WrestleMania, and if you do it once a year, I think it'll be given a pass. My only issue is that we have a lot of people. When it comes to a tag team Money in the Bank match, as long as we're not doing 3 ladder matches in one night, because we can all admit that's way too much. I mean, don't get me wrong. The pay-per-view TNA had back in the day where everything was a cage match was cool in concept, but over time, I got tired of watching cage matches. And I kind of have a feeling that that's what we'll see with ladder matches in the WWE if we were to do that. I love the idea. In fact, I'm a huge supporter of wanting to see a tag team Royal Rumble. And that way, it allows a tag team to pick their championship opportunity at WrestleMania. I do think that's something we could do. Especially if we move the Royal Rumble to 2 nights and we could have the men's tag and the men's single Royal Rumbles in one night, and we do the Women's Royal Rumble the next. But everybody, if you want to see what's next in the Turnbuckle Studios world, please check out this video that shows you our weekly content. Now, before you watch it, I will say the PLE patrols that you always feature the premium live events and Saturday night main events are not listed on this video because they're not a weekly show. So if you want to see what you can expect Sunday to Saturday, please check out this weekly video from the Turnbuckle Studios.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show Turnbuckle Talk at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we go TNA as we brace for Impact at 9 p.m. On Fridays, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later that night, we have the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day. And please visit turnbucklestudios.org.
That's right, everybody. If you want to go to turnbucklestudios.org, that is the place to go to check out everything Turnbuckle Studios. But if you want to, after that .org hit /hosts, you get an opportunity to check out every single one of the members of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. You get to also go to /join if you want a chance to become a member. You have an opportunity to go to /shop to visit our beautiful online store. We'll see a little bit of those videos later in the show, but let's talk about some of the individuals who may or may not have a clear path to WrestleMania. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria do not have a clear path to WrestleMania. Last year, it was presumed that they were going to vie for the tag team championships until somebody took Bayley out, and that person ended up being Becky Lynch, who made her return at WrestleMania to tag with Lyra to take those tag team championships, only to really have that spill over a feud for the Intercontinental Championship. I think for somebody like Bayley, she is very much an important part of the women's division, yet doesn't have that clear path to a WrestleMania almost year after year. She is just a few years removed from being a Royal Rumble winner and winning the women's title at WrestleMania. But the big question is, what does Bayley do this year at WrestleMania? We know she's in a tag team with Lyra Valkyria, and the big obvious is tag team championships. Now, if there was this big tag team title match with multiple teams, yeah, I'm putting Bayley and Lyra Valkyria in this match. In fact, if you want to ask, what is my plan if I was booking WrestleMania right now? I would have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defend the tag team titles against the teams of Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, Nia Jax Legend, Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. And then if you really want, maybe a Kiana James and a Julia, or a Alba Fire and Chelsea Green. Because I do think we're going to get maybe Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill once again at WrestleMania. I don't think Rhea Ripley's winning the Elimination Chamber. I don't think Alexa Bliss is winning the Elimination Chamber. I don't think Asuka, Io, or Bayley are going to win the Elimination Chamber, nor do I think Charlotte, Nia, or Kiana James will. So if that's where we're going, I think a large tag team championship match is right there for the women. You would ask, okay, what would I do with Julie in the United States Championship? I would have her defend that title against Jordynne Grace. I think that would be a great match. I think it's a match that we were teased with in NXT, and I think it would be a great match at WrestleMania. And yes, I would have Jordynne Grace become the new United States champion at WrestleMania. On the Intercontinental Champion side, I do not see why, if AJ Lee does not defeat Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title, why we can't have an ultimate blow-off match here at WrestleMania. You do that, Becky Lynch, AJ Lee officially no longer in each other's crosshairs. You can go forward now with whoever you want as your champion and the next person. That could be a Natalya, that could be a Maxine, that could be an Ivy Nile, could be whoever. I just want some focus here on the Intercontinental picture, and I do think it's a little bit full circle moment to have Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, who just last year in Las Vegas were trying to become tag team champions, finally become tag team champions this year at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. There's something poetic about that, if you ask me, and that's exactly how I would include the two of them, but Bayley herself at WrestleMania. Now, I believe Lyra got a good moment last year at WrestleMania. I know Bayley doesn't need the moment, but yes, I would have Bayley be the one to capture the titles for her team. I think it just solidifies why we are always behind Bayley in the support role. Why, when we as fans always want to support and cheer for someone, but they constantly never get a consistent push, a consistent run with something. Yeah, we get teases from here and there. But when for 80% of the year, we're wondering, I wish they just did this. To have those moments at least solidify the reason why we keep going. So I think that would be a big moment and a good one. Another person who I'm a little bit fizzy with is Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona returned to the WWE, and he had a small little program with Kit Wilson. Now, we haven't really seen much of that go any further because Kit Wilson had a match with Obafemi and got absolutely destroyed. He's set to face Obafemi once again on this coming edition of SmackDown. But Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews were just hanging out backstage. So the question is there a plan in place for Matt Cardona? Because right now it feels Matt Cardona is still in that position that he used to be as Zack Ryder. Best coming in saying, I feel Cardona is going to find himself in the U.S. title picture. Now, most likely. But why not have Matt Cardona in one of the qualifying matches for Elimination Chamber and have Matt Cardona qualify for the Elimination Chamber match? We get a chance to see Matt Cardona in the ring with people like LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton. Potentially one of the three of Gunther, Javon Evans, Dominic Mysterio. One of Damian Priest, Trick Williams, and Carmelo Hayes. I mean, to kind of put things in full circle, what happens if Carmelo Hayes is in the match, Matt Cardona is in the match, and Matt Cardona takes out Carmelo Hayes in this match, could put him front and center in the U.S. title picture. But having Matt Cardona in Elimination Chamber, to me, makes a lot of sense. He could be that one guy that you just know probably won't win, but you're happy to see him in that field. And really, I do think Matt Cardona should be looked at as a, pun intended, a major player on the SmackDown side. I get the fact that we have Jacob Fatu, we have Cody Rhodes, we have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton. You got a good crop in there already. But we got to find a ways for the Matt Cardonas and this next guy, Aleister Black. Because why are they coming back if they're not in something that we care about? Now, there's been rumors that the WrestleMania plan could be Randy Orton versus Aleister Black. And if that's the case, I want to see this match. And the reason why? It's fresh. You get an opportunity to share the ring with Randy Orton in WrestleMania. Now we're talking about you in something that's a little bit bigger than what you've been doing. We haven't seen much of Aleister Black since his loss against Damian Priest in the ambulance match. But when we have seen him, it was in moments from here and there. We know he was hurt out of that match, and we know that it's been very selective when we have seen him. But now it's time to really focus in and say, what is he doing for WrestleMania? Because a WrestleMania appearance really solidifies, in my eyes, if you actually had plans for bringing him back or not. And you can go with the same way for U.S. champion Julia. Now, I did say, have her defend against Jordynne Grace. Okay. But she is now a two-time United States champion. And the first time she was champion, it was not a most memorable reign. Now we're looking at a second reign, and it feels a lot of the same, yet she's on our screens almost every week. The only issue is they've been kind of pairing her and Kiana James up as a tag team, going after the tag titles, overshadowing, in my eyes, that United States championship she has around her waist. So my big concern is that adding Kiana James into this mix really shows that there is not an individual plan for Julia. And that the idea of Julia as champion should be enough to have you care about Julia, which I'm going to tell you, it's not the right approach. Because just because she is a champion doesn't make me care more about Julia. It bothers me that there's not a direction for Julia. It bothers me that there's not a clear sign in place for Julia. We need to get the feuds. We need to get the emotional investment into what she's doing back, like they had in NXT, like they had in Japan. Because when we're there, now all of a sudden the stock of Julia rises. This is why I think Jordynne Grace makes a lot of sense. And then post WrestleMania, I would move Julia over to Raw. I would move Julia over to Raw. And I'd even contemplate moving an Io Sky to SmackDown. I'm kind of there with the whole, as soon as Io and Rhea drop the tag titles, I want to see Rio and Ia separate immediately. I want to see Io separate from the Asukas, the Kairi Sanes immediately. It's almost, anytime I see something with Io Sky, it's almost a throwback to what she was doing just a couple years ago. So if I put Julia on Raw, I'm having her attack Rhea Ripley. I'm going after the big fish, and the big fish is Rhea Ripley. And now all of a sudden, Julia's in a program that we all want to watch. And yes, I do think it's time to say, you put up your dukes, and if you don't, you'll get knocked out. So let's fight and give these people a chance, an opportunity to at least become the true superstar that we want them to be. Let's see if they're that talent that takes you to the new level. I think it's very, very important that we don't get much of the same anymore. Not to mention, it'd be a lot of fun when we watch Raw and SmackDown and just see just the sprinkles of new. Let's do a change. Because you remember when Seth Rollins won the triple threat at WrestleMania and Paul Heyman turned on both Roman and CM Punk, and how everyone was like, okay, this is new. And then all of a sudden, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, they all joined. Yeah, now it's all new. And then Braun Breaker spears Seth Rollins out. And now there's a vision without Seth Rollins. And we're going with a younger, different generational group. Okay. These are the creative splashes I want to see for other people as well. I'm not saying they have to be in the top story of the program, but at least level up. We can play a video game as much as we want, but if it's a long journey and there's not an opportunity to make us feel like we're getting closer to that final boss, then we lose interest. And I can tell you, if we don't do that for a lot of these people that don't have the direct pass to WrestleMania, whether it is the Baileys, the Lyra Valkyrias, the Matt Cardonas, the Aleister Blacks, maybe even Carmelo Hayes as well, Jimmy and Jey Uso, even though they're tag champions, do they have a direct path to WrestleMania? You could say defend the titles, but against who? What about Bronson Reed? What about Austin Theory? It's all up in the air right now. And to me, these are the people that you need. This is the crop that you rely on for the stabilities of your shows. Yes, you got your main draws. They're going to take it to the new level. But you need this. You need these people to always be in something. And just because a championship's tied to them doesn't mean that something is there. I did say earlier that you can have a chance to go to turnbucklestudios.org/shop/join to see if you want to become a member of the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, or if you want to shop anything. If you want to go and pick up a Chris Parrish podcast hat, a Chris Parrish podcast hoodie, t-shirt, phone cover, pillowcase, notepad cover, backpack, it's all there at turnbucklestudios.org/shop. So if you want to see a little bit more about both, please check out these two videos right now.
A Turnbuckle Affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, videos games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
The Turnbuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at turnbucklestudios.org.
That's right, everybody. We got you covered. Whether it's programming, whether it's advertising, or even if it's merchandise. So if you want to get a part of Turnbuckle Studios, the big puzzle piece to know is turnbucklestudios.org. You can hit /hosts to check out everyone a part of the brand. You can go to /join if you want to become a part of the brand. But if you want to support and wear the brand, you got to go to /shop. Now we know WrestleMania is the be-all, end-all. It's a showcase of the immortals. It is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. But the big question is how do we get there if there is no direct pathway? Elimination Chamber does take place on Saturday, February 28th. You can check that out on Netflix or how you watch your PLEs. But if you want to watch the PLE Patrol, you can over on the Turnbuckle Studios platforms. But if you also want to check it out in live, please keep close contact. And I will let you know if Beercade YEG does have a free showing in the Edmonton, Alberta area. Now, we talked about all 4 matches as of right now about Elimination Chamber, and next week we will definitely dive in a little bit more about Elimination Chamber. But right now we're sitting at 2 months away from WrestleMania live in Las Vegas, and we know there is more than a handful of superstars on both the men and women's side that do not have a direct pathway to WrestleMania. So the big question remains, how do they get there? Now, I guess the big question or the big kind of elephant in the room is the easiest way to get to WrestleMania is championship. Now, you might have to direct your path to a world title, whether it's the women's world title or the women's WWE women's title, just like the WWE undisputed title or the world heavyweight championship. Those are 4 opportunities. But then you got to look at the Intercontinental Championships and the United States Championship. Those are 4 more. There are 2 sets of tag team championships for the men and 1 for the women. Those are 3 more. So you have 11 opportunities for championships going into WrestleMania. That's all well and good, but we know that there are always multiple matches that do not have a title associated to them. So right now, let's just dive down the championships. Roman Reigns will challenge CM Punk. We know that. The Elimination Chamber match will settle who faces Drew McIntyre. Stephanie Vaquer or Jade Cargill will face off against Liv Morgan, and the Elimination Chamber match will determine the other one. So those championships have a path. Who does Dominic Mysterio face off for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania? Who does Carmelo Hayes defend the United States Championship against? Who does Julia defend her title against? And who does Becky Lynch defend? And that is presumably, assuming she is still champion after Elimination Chamber. So let's go into that fantasy world of who would be the right person. If I'm the guy choosing this, I told you, Jordynne Grace winning the United States title at WrestleMania makes a lot of sense to me. Having Jordynne Grace become a champion on a show coming out of WrestleMania means that there is a plan in place for her. I wouldn't mind seeing a blow-off to the feud that is Becky Lynch, and AJ Lee at WrestleMania. There we go. Now all of a sudden we are left with Dirty Dom and Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes very well could have a multi-man match at WrestleMania. Everything's looking at that way. So I say, why not? Let's have some fun and bring back the championship scramble match at WrestleMania and make it for the United States Championship. Instead of having, say, a 25, 30-minute match of people coming in. Let's just do a straight up 20-minute match. You have 5 or 6 people in the ring. If you have a pinfall or submission attempt go in your favor, you're the current champion throughout the match, and whoever is that champion at the end of the bell is the official United States champion. I would put in Carmelo Hayes. I'd put Trick Williams. I would put Apollo Crews in there. I'd put Ilya Dragunov in there, and that's already 4 right there. You want to put Matt Cardona in there? Fine by me. But how about we keep that 6th spot open? Because maybe we added Kit Wilson. Maybe we add a return or somebody else. Question is, if you're going to add 6, who would that 6 be? Or would 5 be the right, appropriate thing there? Would Ray Phoenix be the perfect person there? Maybe. And maybe that's what you do. You put Ray Phoenix in there and you complete that 6. Okay. So we got the Intercontinental title left. CB Wrestling, so we're heading towards Finn and Dom for the title. And I have to agree. Because there's something poetic about the fact that just last year, Dominic Mysterio pinned Finn Balor to win the Intercontinental Championship. Yes, the champion going in was Braun Breaker. But the man he pinned for that title was Finn Balor. We have been teasing Finn Balor leaving the Judgment Day for quite a while right now. We've been getting the teases from Separation out of the Judgment Day for quite a while. It is very much a direct plan for Finn Balor going after an individual championship. He's looking at CM Punk in the World Heavyweight Championship, but here's the big question. What do we do at Elimination Chamber that has CM Punk walk out still champion? Because a clean win completely eliminates Finn Balor from serious contention. Because that would mark twice in the span of a month or so that he lost to CM Punk. Clean in the ring. I think this in Chicago is where you pull the trigger and you have Dirty Dom turn on Finn Balor. I don't like this whole slow tease. I don't like this whole, hey, maybe he tries to help and it just doesn't work and we slow play. I think we need a direct decision made at Elimination Chamber. And I like the fact if Dirty Dom helps CM Punk win this match. It just makes us care that much more about Dirty Dom and Finn if it's something direct and something right away. Because if you slow play this any longer, I think you're just downplaying it. Plus, you're in Chicago. What city would not? Like, they would explode if we get something like this. And then we could have Finn and Vakir in a mixed tag match against Dom and Liv. And I would love that, especially if that's the Raw before Mania. What a nice little teaser of a match that would be. So what about the tag titles? Okay, I let everybody know. The multi-women TLC tag match for the women. There we go. Got that. Who do the Usos go up against, and who does the MFTs go up against? I think it's safe to say that we have not determined anything yet on the finale of the Wyatt Six and the MFTs. So I say we have our blow off between those two groups. That just leaves the Usos. And I will go out and say I would like to see an open challenge for the tag team titles at WrestleMania, and one of two teams faces the Usos. That would be the Motor City Machine Guns, or this is the time where you do the Usos versus the Hardys for the tag titles at WrestleMania. It's a WrestleMania moment. It would be a shock. It would be fun, especially if it was the Hardys. That's a dream match, brothers versus brothers. But it's also a dream match if you have the Motor City Machine Guns, one of the best tag teams in TNA of all time, a tag team that really solidified the X Division and really brought a whole new wave down. And you're going up against one of the best tag teams from WWE. Worlds collide. Bam, there you go. That's a big match. And because it's baby on baby, you don't need a big build. You can have a moment instead. And I think that is what you do for your championships. Maybe next week we'll talk a little bit more about that, because we're at that time where we just don't have more time. So I've been letting everybody know that, yes, this was Roadblock episode 115, but let's talk about next week, shall we? Episode 116 on the clock. That's right. What does that mean? We'll find out next week, because just like a good wrestling show, I'm going to leave you wanting more. Once again, if you want to follow me on anything, my link tree is right there below. It's a great way to check out all my socials, all the platforms you can watch the Chris Parrish podcast. We are live on Kick over at the Chris Parrish podcast, so make sure you're hitting a subscribe and a follow there, just like we are on Twitch, where I'm sitting at 148. Let's bump that up to 150. Let's try to get to 200 by WrestleMania. I'm sitting at 49 followers on YouTube. So if you want to hit that, I would love to start pushing the YouTube market and that train and that. So please help out the Chris Parrish podcast live on YouTube. So hit that notification bell button, hit that subscribe button, and let's start spreading the word that the Chris Parrish podcast is there every Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time. We're live on X. We're live on the Turnbuckle Studios forums. We're also on TikTok, and we're also on Spotify. So go check out all of that. The description does include all that information. So between now and then, between now and next week, this has been episode 115 of the Chris Parrish podcast. And I will say this: I appreciate every single one who comes in and checks out and supports this show. I do this for you. I thank you, because I cannot do this without you. So please have a great day, and remember to be yourself. Remember to be happy and be healthy, because at the end of the day, you matter.